morning, everyone. We are about to finish week 3 of Achieve. Again, can't thank you guys enough to, just for joining and coming. And I get messages when someone can't make it. No one's really just, everyone's trying to do everything they can. So got a lot, actually quite a few messages this morning. Folks that just won't be able to make it, but folks are wanting and reading, watching the recordings, which is awesome. So again, thank you guys for that and for your continued engagement. So we have today, and then we have one more week, to kind of, get through the course, and of course after that point we will stay engaged. We want you guys to ask, I'm just going to take a second here before I hopefully hear some success stories from some of the, some of you guys that are maybe making some contact, but, want to stress that, when I say we are here for you guys now and, after this course, you have office coordinators, that are here for you. We have office managers, we have, the whole leadership team. So, just know that, right now and after this course, you guys are not on your own. We didn't do this just so we can say, hey, look, we trained you. We hope this engages you. We hope this triggers other questions and, etc. So, so just kind of make sure you guys know that. So, and then, so this afternoon, as soon as I get this recording, I already have an email started. I'm going to just send a recap email with all of the recordings, to date, and just kind of the business plan spreadsheet and, the spreadsheet for, the database. So I'm going to just kind of send everything that I've sent to date kind of in one email, and we've had some few folks, maybe not see something or not get something. So I want to make sure everybody gets that. So I'll be doing that this afternoon as well. But please just, let us know. I had a great conversation with Michelle yesterday. So she reached out, we sat and talked for an hour on a Zoom, and so that's available to all you guys. So if you, if you're stuck, if you need some thoughts, if you want some direction, if you, again, office coordinators, office managers, or reach, directly out to me, and happy to help and chat and do whatever we can for you guys. So as we continue, before I get started, I want to, sort of do what I've been asking and see if anybody has, if you'll unmute yourself or throw something in chat as far as just really what I consider a success story. And again, a success story is you've reached out to someone, you've done something to trigger someone to basically say, oh, gee, great to hear from you. I'll keep you in mind. Or obviously to the positive point of saying, hey, I'm thinking about doing something, great timing, or, thank you for reminding me type thing. So I'm just going to stop for a second and just see if anybody has, and it could just be a part of your daily business, but I'd love to hear success stories, because that's always a good driver for, really for the whole group. So, so I'm going to just stop for a minute, and hopefully someone will share some success story.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
Hi. Well, I'm a new agent, and I've never had a client before, but I was reaching out to a mom that posted she was looking for a realtor on a group that I'm on Facebook. It's like a local group of moms, and yeah, they've decided to use me. So I was pretty honest about being new, but that I'd help them and do whatever I could for them, and so they're going to be selling and buying.
Emily, that is awesome. And, again, Emily just, you know, like a group in Facebook, if you guys have never thought of that, you know, there are a ton of groups in Facebook, pages you can join and groups you can join. And, you know, Emily just said it was just, you know, like a mom group type thing, but there are, you know, just so many different neighborhood groups that you can join. And again, you're not joining to say, I'm a realtor, let me know, you know, but you're joining to just be a part of it and to listen and to see someone else post just because they wanted to. We're thinking about doing something, or we need a home. Anybody have any suggestions? And Emily took that as a like, hey, you know, I'm going to reach out, and now has a client, which is, I mean, seriously awesome. So that is Emily, you know, stepping forward and not being a secret agent, and also being very, what I would consider proactive in kind of watching, you know, like just keeping an eye on that group. And the second you see something like that, you want to step up and be like, you know, be in the mix. You want to be the first person. You want to, you know, before they make a decision. So, so that is totally awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. We do have some chats. Oh, everyone's congratulating you. So that's awesome. So, but yeah, so that's great. You know, all I'll say is, anybody else want to share something? I'll stop for a second. I want to make sure.
Hi, Wayne, it's Lisa.
Yes.
Hi there. I just would like to share that I suppose determination and tenacity and, you know, sticking with people. I've been with several clients, but one in particular, a couple that before they even got married, now they're married. So I've been coaching them for 4 years and keeping in touch with them, giving them pointers on how to save money and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so they finally got approved this week for a loan. Yay. So I guess just hanging with people, even if they don't seem hopeful in the beginning, they appreciate you for keeping in touch.
That's awesome. And obviously 4 years sounds like a very daunting task, but in reality, you know, you had some sort of system or a reminder, or, you know, they didn't stress you out. You were just
Not at
helping
all.
them along the way, right? I mean, is that kind of the thought?
Yeah, not at all. And it was just I think another lesson to learn that I thought as a realtor when I first started that people knew a lot about buying and selling. I mean, I realize we have to teach people things, but I never want to insult anyone's intelligence. So I'm always careful on that. But this poor guy didn't know anything. He didn't know, even, this sounds really sad, but he goes, "What's an asset?" I'm like, so I've been teaching him for 4 years about everything. And I felt very valued, you know, and so I felt like I really helped the poor guy. He knows a
That's
lot more now.
awesome. So yeah, so we talked a lot on Monday about, you know, starting a conversation, but then listening. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with asking the question, you know, do you understand this or understand this, or do you have questions about the process? I'm currently working with a kid. He's 25, I think, maybe. He's just asking away, and I'm kind of feeling the same thing. I'm like, man, I kind of feel like, you know, I'm truly helping him. Obviously the whole house thing, you know, that's awesome, but you know, that's a great story that not only did you stay with someone for 4 years, but that you truly made, you know, I mean, again, buying a house is a huge deal, and you help someone do that, but you actually helped him in life, essentially. So that's awesome. I love it.
Thanks. Never assume, right? Never assume everybody knows everything that you do.
Yeah. And great point to say something along the lines of like, geez, I don't want to, you know, start the conversation assuming that, but, you know, asking those questions, you know, do you know, where are we going to start? Do you understand this? Do you understand that? Let them say, oh yeah, I understand that. Okay, move on. But you know, often, you know, we just like, okay, let's go see 123 Main Street. And, you know, they're like, okay, I'll see the house, but I don't even know, like I have no idea what to do if I like it. So, so constantly being the one to ask the questions and begin those conversations is great.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate you
Thank
sharing that.
Absolutely, thanks.
Roger says, for new agents like myself, I have discovered that my buyer clients really like it when I set up auto prospecting on MLS. Absolutely. And kind of going back to, to what Lisa said, explaining that, like, hey, I'm going to set this up for you. When you see this, you just let me know if you have any questions, if it's a house you want to see, if you just have questions about the home. In that kind of thinking along that lines with Roger, you'll be surprised how many folks that I meet that think they have to talk to the listing agent. So, so make sure if you meet someone that they know that you can help them with any home that's listed in the MLS. And it's important for you to let them know that you can represent them, especially if it's not your listing or your company's listings. But basically you're their agent. You will represent them, you will take care of them, that kind of thing. So but yeah, I meet a lot of folks that just kind of think, well, I know, but I got to call this company because it's their listing. No. I can help you with this property, answer any questions, and anything else you see. So kind of making sure that that's part of the very first conversation is that, that you are the one they call if they have any questions, if they're driving by one, if they stop in an open house. It's so easy, especially, if they are just, just new at this or whatever, and they just don't know. It's so easy for them to just be driving by an open house or see one in the MLS and just say, oh, let's go. Yeah, we're not doing anything Saturday. And then they get there and the agent just simply says, like, hey, I'm happy to help you if you have any questions. And then before you know it, they're kind of like hooked to that guy. And then, thought, well, I don't know, we were there. So, so setting expectations with our clients that, you can pop in an open house. I don't care. Just let them know you have an agent. They'll answer questions, but I'm your agent. So, so just, definitely be proactive in upfront as far as that goes. And then kind of going back to, what Lisa said is, just making sure that, communication's open and that you're being, just helpful from the start. So very cool. Anybody else before we get going? Want to share anything? Any thoughts? Okay, we had a bunch of folks say congrats to everyone, so that's awesome. So thank you for the support for the group. So let's finish this, and then I'm actually kind of want to maybe in the back half of the class get into leverage. And just kind of re-show you guys a few things in leverage. I want to make sure that you guys know, the university is in there, and if you have any questions, you guys, if you think of anything that you want to see in leverage, either make a note or throw it in chat. And I want to kind of get in there and just kind of make sure you guys know that there's, that a lot of the tools we're talking about, a lot of the in the university, there are a lot of self-guided sessions that you can take or just watch that are outside of just learning a tool, objection handling, multiple offer situation handling, getting new clients, that type of thing. So there's a lot in there that I just kind of want to make sure you guys know exists, other than just learning a certain tool, which is just as valuable, but there's some great sessions in there. So we'll kind of go through the, the session here and then do that at the end. But again, as always, please unmute yourself or throw something in chat if you have any questions or anything to add to kind of what we're chatting about as we go. So kind of fitting that this is, I just kind of put this slide up. We talked about this, but our next slide is where we left off. But I kind of wanted to reiterate this one, and it was kind of perfect with, just with what even just Lisa said about, starting a conversation and then listening and knowing, what I need to do. Lisa may have thought, oh, gee, this guy's just going to look for homes. And then, in part of that conversation, because she listened, she said, oh, geez, I got to kind of, stop this a little bit and start, explaining a little bit more. Or, oh, geez, these guys got to get pre-qualified, but the idea is no matter, even Emily she started the conversation, but, she didn't start the conversation going, hey, I'll show you homes on Saturday. She said, hey, I'm here. And then they came back and kind of went through it. So, every single conversation we have with a current client, past client, or someone we meet, basically is never the same path. Like our job, there is never one client that is exactly how my last deal went. And that goes from obviously the start, when I first meet someone, to close. We are constantly going left, right, moving forward kind of thing. So, just kind of always remember that. And then, it's kind of, it's great to sort of think of this when we have someone maybe go quiet. And I say that like Lisa's folks that were 4 years, or whatever. It doesn't matter what time frame is, but always kind of reiterating in asking the question to make sure you guys are still connected, to make sure you're still on the same page. Are they thinking something different than you are? Well, then you gotta go find them and see why they're looking in a different neighborhood, or why they're looking at a bigger home or a smaller home, or why they stopped looking for a month, things like that. When we know that, similar, again, I'm going to kind of probably use Lisa throughout this, is, Lisa said she felt valued and stuff. Well, that's because she stopped and didn't assume, and moved wherever they were, paused when they needed to pause, helped them get to the next step. And that's a huge piece. So, so that's if we continue to do that and stay on that path, that's a client for life. Now I need to stay in touch with them after, but everyone they talk to is going to go, oh my gosh, you have to use Lisa. Oh, and that's our goal. That's us building our sphere. And all we did was our job. All we did was like, hey, you're the one buying the house. Like, I'm not going to make you look at 4 bedrooms if you only want 2, or I'm not going to show you 2 if you need 4. But so we're just kind of, following their direction. So, and I think maybe we ended with this slide now that I think about it, but, I cannot stress that we got to continue working our sphere. Time blocking is huge. No matter where we are in our business, prospecting, is and needs to be. There's not one agent that cannot stop prospecting. Prospecting is getting new business. Prospecting is following up with past clients. So obviously, if you're a new agent, you're getting new business. If you're an experienced agent and you have a ton of folks to work, that's your prospecting. It doesn't, there are different levels of prospecting. It's not like you always have to, work online leads, or you have to, do Facebook posts to get new folks. It just depends on where you are in your business. But, if an agent is not prospecting, they're winging it. They are, business can dry up quick. If we're not prospecting and staying in touch with folks. So, so time blocking is huge. To say, from 9 to 10 every morning, I prospect, period. someone calls and says, hey, can you meet me at 9? I am tied up from 9 to 10, but I can meet you at 10. Okay, no problem. So, whatever your time block is, and if it's something absolutely, like that you cannot, like, okay, I'll meet you at 9, you are prospecting in that day from 10 to 11, or, you are still prospecting an hour a day. So, so time blocking, I've met some folks that have time blocked 9 to 5, which, and they stick to it, which is, a lot, which is, I can't do that. I try, but there are certain times during the day where I time block, and I am tied up from, whatever to whatever. So just, consider that, and maybe start small, start with 2 different 1-hour sessions kind of thing. In whatever that is. I mean, time blocking is, I'm going to be with the family from, I'm going to eat dinner from 6 to 7 with the family. That's a time block. If that's important to you and your business and your life, then you time block it, and you do not take an appointment from 6 to 7, so it's not only work related. If you like to work out, you are going to work out every day at 2. That's a legitimate time block, because that's what's important to you in your life and business. So, it's a mixture of your life and your work. We talk about practice. So the third one down is practice. So, obviously if you're experienced, you've done it enough, but you're still always tweaking, you're still always adjusting. When you're new, that's what I say. I mean, we got to practice, like, what am I going to say on this phone call? What am I, kind of going back to our value prop. If I meet someone and I say I'm an agent, or they realize I'm an agent, what am I going to say in the next 30 seconds to a minute to get them to remember me, to say, oh, gee, we're doing something, or for them to remember me. And when they hear someone that they know say, I'm looking to do something, we're gonna, for them to say, oh, gee, Roger, so that's the practice piece. It's not a full-time job. It's just, think about it and stop for 10 minutes a day, and practice your elevator, pitch, your 30 to 60 second one. Practice that. Take until you get your listing presentation down, build it, and then take, 30 minutes a week or an hour a week, 30 minutes for 2 days, and practice it. Go through it like there's someone sitting in front of you, that is, that you're trying to, list their house, and kind of get that talk track down. So that's very important for us to do that. Position. So, I've talked before about, all the tools we have, all the resources that you have to you, the support, that we offer. And you need to wrap that up and give it all to, to a potential client or to your client. So, we're all here and we have all these tools and resources. You got to bundle up your little toolbox and be ready to take it to your clients. And then, local professional, obviously, we love being local. We love talking about local, but that's just, that's reaching out to our sphere. That's reaching out to our neighbors. That's reaching out to past coworkers, doing some social media, doing some Facebook, things like that. So, that's just all part of positioning yourself as a local agent, and you're not a secret agent. And then reassure. So we obviously we've talked a lot about building that database, and staying in touch with them, figuring out a way without, kind of like with Lisa and her guy, I have no interest in being stressed out and worried and like, oh man, they went quiet for I don't even want to do that for 2 months, say nothing about 4 years. But if I just kind of have a regular, like, I don't know, I'm either a CRM reminder, or I'm a message in my, just in my calendar reminder. And if it's a message in my phone that, every 30 days that says touch base with John, if I send John a text, a message, or call him, or just say, hey, what's up, once a month, and he doesn't respond, there is no stress in that for me. I'm like, well, did my job. He didn't respond this month. Maybe he'll respond next month. But you know, that we just have to find those ways to start touching base with folks with our tools helping us, which is the CRM that can do a you know, drip campaign, the CRM that can send home value updates to your clients that own homes, the CRM or the MLS that can do a listing alert, auto listing alert, like Roger mentioned. So, you know, those are all things that are just being done for us. Then what do I have to do on top of it? But again, I mean, there is no client or potential client of mine that will come back to me unless I see them regularly on a personal level. If I am not reminding them, I sell real estate. So that plan to stay in touch with everybody is extremely important. So presenting your marketing plan. So we're going to kind of get back to the, you know, sort of the listing presentation / marketing plan. And that'll kind of be the rest of this session. Again, really just up until I do the, you know, I want to get back in leverage and just kind of show you guys some of those tools. So let me get chat real quick. Oh, no problem, Lisa. I'll send the recording out today. So,
Thanks.
oh, you're welcome. Have a good day.
Thanks.
So we're gonna, you know, so we talked about the listing presentation a lot. I did show you where that is. That is, you know, that's very important for us to get in there and do. So now the second piece, as it's really built into the listing presentation. It is our marketing plan. And if we've never done this before, obviously with new agents, you know, we're kind of like, oh, gee, you know, we might be literally saying, what do I do? Like if I was to get a listing today, I mean, I know I do the paperwork and I know I get it in the MLS, but like, you know, what happens after that? What do I do after that? What should I do? Obviously, the number one piece with that is that we're going to reach out to our office manager and we're going to be like, help. And the office manager or / an agent in the office will help guide us. They will be there to say, oh, no, yeah, okay, yep, this is what we do, get it in the MLS, you know, this is where it goes. You know, and then we need to do an open house. We need to, you know, let's create a flyer real quick. You know, whatever, you know, we'll do some social stuff, you know, whatever that is. But we have to be able to sort of be ready to chat about that and show what we do. In reality, you know, all of that is part of that listing presentation that we talked about. So a piece of, you know, what we do is, you know, obviously you know, this is kind of like you're like, hey, look, you know, I got contacts in the community, you know, I'm going to reach out to, you know, to some folks and we're going to put it on social. Hey, geez, by the way, my office, you know, we have some of the best agents in the business. So, you know, my office will be the first folks to know that I just listed 123 Main Street. And, you know, it's highly likely that, you know, one of those agents has someone. So, but they, you know, I have one of the most productive offices in the business. So, you know, that'll be huge for us to, you know, to have them in our corner. Obviously listing it in the MLS, that gets it to everybody in the, you know, essentially in the world. You know, our online exposure, there is a page in the listing presentation that shows the high quality sites. So, I mean, you list it and almost immediately it gets out to ERA.com, Century21.com, CaldwellBanker.com, you know, all of the local, you know, brokerage websites, gets to Realtor, Zillow, you know, Trulia, you know, all of those sites. So, you know, so we know, you know, very quick after we list it, you know, that listing for your client or potential client, if you're trying to get the listing, is just hundreds and hundreds of websites, you know, in almost no time. Let me check that. So I'll actually be curious and probably, I think Darlene's on the call. Darlene or John asked, have people been doing open houses with COVID? Some listers don't like open houses even before COVID. So 100%, you know, we listen to the seller. So, you know, we ask a seller, or, you know, first of all, let's even go pre-COVID. You know, we ask them, you know, open house is an opportunity for us to, you know, reach more buyers. A lot of folks really, I mean, there are folks that like to go to open houses because, you know, they can do that. They didn't have to, you know, deal with an agent yet. They just kind of go on their own terms, look at the house. So there are folks that like it. And of course, there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of folks that mentally think like open houses are a waste of time and stuff. So, you know, there's no right answer. There's no wrong answer, but I'm going to see if Darlene is on the call. Darlene, you had mentioned that you do, oh, you know what? I do not see Darlene. So I'll say, John, that I know Darlene is still doing open houses. I know folks in my market that are doing open houses. There are fewer open houses, and it's set up with, you know, we're going to sort of sanitize the house. But what I've seen done is there are booties. So you put on booties. And then you're wearing a mask. There's a couple hand sanitizers throughout the home. And in reality, all the doors are open. If there's a closet, it's either opened or we're like, you know, we're not opening doors. We're not touching a bunch of stuff. You're not opening kitchen cabinet doors, things like that. So we're just kind of walking through the house. We're touching as little as possible. You know, and then either, you know, I've seen where the agent has kind of gone through, you know, throughout the open house and sort of helped wipe some stuff down. If you know, there was, you know, door handle that was likely touched, you know, you're kind of wiping it down. So, so yeah, there's no question that it's different now and probably will be different for, you know, for a while. But that's that's having a conversation with a seller. To even see if that's an option, if it's needed, if it's, you know, whatever. So is anyone else, I'll stop for a second. Anybody else that, have you done an open house, this, you know, in this past 6 or 9 months? Any experience with that? Anybody else on the call? Okay. Yeah. So like I said, though, I'm not even, you know, pre-COVID, I am not pushing an open house on someone. You know, if I feel, I don't know, just for whatever reason, I feel that it could help, you know, or they say, no, I don't believe in them. I will always I will always give them the 30-second, like, you know, we could get a buyer from it. So, you know, you know, whether I like to do them or not, you know, or whatever our thoughts are, like, you know, it is up to you, but, you know, we've had some success with them. So, you know, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But, you know, we could have some, you know, it could be valuable for us. And then if they say no, they say no. If they say yes, you know, whatever. So always kind of leave it up to them, but not just without informing them that, you know, that they can be valuable, period. So. Okay, so this is like help the seller set the price. So obviously, you know, they have done some homework, and it might not be the best homework per se, but you know, basically when they are thinking about it, there's a chunk of sellers that have gone online, you know, maybe even just have a price in their mind. Maybe somebody, you know, told them, you know, man, your house has got to be worth this, but you know, there's a price in their mind. But, you know, kind of going back to that, there's a pricing analysis grid we talked about as part of that listing presentation page. Saleability rating, you know, there's a few tools that we have to help help them understand it. I mean, we have no choice but to say, you know, well, you know, the other 3-bedroom, 2 baths sold for this, take their home, do a plus and minus. that one, you know, needed a new kitchen. Yours is a new kitchen. Okay, you know, we can go up. That one had a new kitchen. Yours is old. You know, we can't, you know, we can't expect to get that. And obviously in a weird market like we are, where folks are paying more, you know, it's still, you know, there's still an appraiser, you know, unless it's cash, there's an appraiser that's going to come out, and the bank's not just going to fall for, you know, just a magic number just because I said I'm willing to pay it. You know, there's still a value to it. So it's our job to make sure they have all of that, you know, all the data we can, be willing to listen to them. We have to be willing to listen to them to why they think this or why they think that. Just part of our job, and just come up with the you know, come up with that price that just isn't, you know, I mean, if you're at 250 and they're at 275, and you just think, man, I'm kind of at the high end at 250, you know, but it is, you know, it's kind of a weird market, you know, or you know, just kind of thinking through everything, you know, like if you can agree at 259, you know, you're like, and you can, you know, you're just, you know, you're giving all the information, you're doing your job, you're the expert to value this, not them just magically throwing a price out or whatever. And then it comes down to the, you know, sometimes it comes down to, yeah, I just might not be the right agent for you. If they haven't agreed to, you know, to a certain price, or are just, you know, totally out of the ballpark. I have walked away if I didn't get them down some, or if they didn't agree within 2 weeks. So we'll list it at your price, but in 2 weeks, we are lowering the price to this, and get them to sign that at the time I list it. You know, so, you know, if they're going to be at that price, I am going to be pulling my hair out for the next 6 months. They are going to think I'm not doing my job. The sign's going to be in the yard for 6 months, and people are going to be like, geez, why didn't that house sell? And geez, what's that agent doing? I mean, you know, there is negative to having a listing for a long period of time, you know, if you know, if no one understands why. And a lot of folks don't understand that, you know, that it's overpriced, that, or they don't think about it in that respect. So, you know, so just, you know, always, you know, do your job. You're the expert, help them do it. And then, you know, and then just make sure it makes sense for you to move forward with them, based on, you know, what you're going to deal with, or if it's even got a shot to sell. Okay, please, again, anybody has any thoughts or questions, you know, please just don't hesitate to throw them in chat or unmute yourself. And just sort of continuing with the CMA. So, you know, we're just discussing the, every seller thinks that their house is special in some way. And if you know, there are no homes exactly like theirs. So when we're doing a CMA, these are homes that are similar to yours. And we tell them that these are 3-bath, 3-bed, 2-bath, similar square footage in the similar neighborhood. And that's really at the level that we can do this at. And then when we're trying to, nail down a price, we can get to, wow, this one had a newer kitchen. This one has a 2-car garage. You only have a 1, things like that. And then kind of value those as we go. But if we don't do that, they will sit there and they will say, well, our house has, and that house, I was in that house. That is not, ours is way better than that. There's a lot of emotion there. So we are always treading lightly, but we are the expert. We are, I don't care, you can be a week in this business, we've helped you get the data to be the expert. And so you're not walking and winging it, even though you may have never priced a house before. But we have enough data, we have enough folks that can help us, experienced agents that will help us, an office manager we got folks that will go out with you and help you, mentor you, be a part, be with you on these appointments. So again, you could be the first time doing it and you are still the expert because of the tools and resources that we have to get to that point. I wouldn't go without saying that the good old Zestimate, there's actually two thoughts to that. So obviously the Zestimate out there, I've seen them, just obnoxiously high, and someone sees that and, oh, the Zestimate, and you're like, oh boy. And I've actually seen them low. So it's obviously, there's no merit in that. They don't have that. They've never been in the house. They can't price a house just because. In another thought to that, and I was just asked it, someone asked me that, a client of mine asked it on Saturday. He's kind of one of those guys that I'm kind of working with in teaching a few things, or he's not super knowledgeable about actually purchasing a home. And he asked about the appraisal value. He said, well, what's the difference between the appraisal value or the assessed value? I'm sorry. He said, what's the difference between the assessed value and the listing price? And I'm like, well, the assessed value, can almost mean nothing. I mean, unless it was just adjusted for a purchase price, the assessment can be way out of date. The assessors almost, in my area, they never go in a house. They are driving by, take a peek at it, take a picture, and get the stats. They know it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,700, and they're looking at another 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,700, and they're just throwing a price on it. And sometimes they are so out of whack that it's, you got a house that, assessed at 120 and it's listed at 220. The assessment, in my book, it really means nothing. I don't use it. I don't look at it. I use it for tax purposes and know that the taxes could go up. But again, the value of the home, well, first of all, is what someone was willing to pay for it, obviously. But the value of the home is what another 3-bedroom, 2-bath that recently sold for, or the last 5 that sold, or similar homes have sold for. That's the market value. That's the CMA value. Is that not the estimate, not the assessment, or you go get an appraisal? But the appraisal is a very glorified and expensive CMA. They do their job. They break it down to each square foot's worth this price. A 2-car garage versus one is worth $2,500. Like, they break it down and sort of, get a better or a true value. Obviously, that's why the banks use them. So this is actually kind of cool here. Is some homework that I want you guys to do is do a CMA on either a home that you were in recently, if you happen to show a house recently, so that you can get a feel for the the kitchen and does it have a basement? Is the basement finished? More than, just a few pictures. Or, do a CMA on your home, like literally do a CMA on your home. And then, so what you'll do is you'll, kind of analyze your home. You'll go to the MLS and you'll be, you'll know that your home is 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,800 square foot. That you have a 2-car garage, you're in this neighborhood. If you have not done a CMA, it's very valuable to just do one, to create a CMA, tweak, you'll learn this as you go. You're going to tweak, like say if it's 1,800 square foot, I will usually, if, depending on what's out there, do like 1,600 square foot to 2,000 square foot. So I kind of do a range. If it's 3-bedroom, I might do a 3/4 bedroom, and just realize that if it's a 4-bedroom home at 200 or whatever price, I'm going to be like, well, we only have 3, so I got to kind of consider that. You're doing the best you can. Sometimes you do a CMA only 3-bedroom, only 2-bath, limit the square footage, and you get a good list. But if you're looking for properties, sometimes you got to expand a little bit. So kind of playing with that CMA, I think will be valuable for you. Again, if you haven't done one, or maybe did one, doing another one, because again, the idea is hopefully in the next week or 2, or very soon, as we're reaching out to everyone in our database and we're starting to do more and get our name out there and making sure everybody knows we're an agent, that someone's going to say, hey, can you tell me what my house is worth? So so practicing it and tweaking it and kind of having knowing how to do that is very valuable to you. So I'm just kind of curious, has anyone, any of our newer agents either done a CMA or not done a CMA yet on a home, whether it was for practice or that you actually, had a chance to get in front of someone? I just stop for a second and hopefully someone will kind of either throw something in chat or unmute themselves and just let me know if you have done, if you're newer and have done one, and what kind of how that went, or if all right. Oh, a few folks in the chat. Oh, great. Holly says, I practice on my in-laws property. I mean, seriously, that's perfect. Michelle, not done a CMA, but would like to watch someone. Okay. You know what? I'm going to make a note, because that's something, actually, I was just thinking, I wonder if that would be, would you guys see value in a class? Well, maybe it was even just a short video. I don't know how long it would take to do a CMA, but a 10 to 15 minute video of someone doing a CMA. You guys see would you guys see value in that? Okay. Michelle, okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, obviously in our different markets, but it might be something we could put together. Okay, might be something we could put together in each, in each of our 4 markets, because obviously the MLSs are different. But even the idea of doing one, and it might look a little different if you're in your MLS, but the fact that the talk track of how someone does one, this is what I look for. This is the square footage, and then I stop there and run, how many properties kind of things. So, okay, so I'm going to make. I think that I just thought of that, so I think that could be valuable for us to, to maybe help you guys with that. So, Roger, I did one for a listing I have in Adams County. Yeah, I mean, it's more. Roger says it's more challenging for nicer properties in rural areas than in more densely populated. I mean, 100%. Like, if I'm, let's just say, I say downtown Cincy, or in a neighborhood in Cincinnati or Columbus, or wherever, and you got 10 homes on the street, you don't fight too hard to get 3-bedroom, 2 baths, with 1,500 square foot. But totally, that's kind of where you have to start getting a little creative. Roger and Holly agreed. So you have to get a little more creative. You have to say, well, Adams County. So this is what I do, because I live in a rural area. So I have a city, a larger town city that I have an easier time with. But when I come outside, I actually will grab properties in other communities, but it's the similar community. In the prices are similar. I'll actually grab those and work them. Or I have to go to a little bit, I got to go to 2 to, for a 3-bedroom, I got to go from 2 to 4 bedroom. And I got to go from, instead of 2 bath, 1 to 3, I got to widen it and then and then pay a little bit more attention on the back end to you know, to help me price that. And really what you'll learn is you know, it just starts coming from experience. So as you guys go through that, you know, please reach out to your office manager, or find an agent in the office that's kind of dealt with it before, because that's really the best experience, you know, until we get that down and experienced enough to kind of to know how to, you know, how to just do it on our own, if that makes sense. I mean, use as much data as you can, you know, please pull in your office manager, you know, whoever you can in your office to help you with that, and kind of use their experience. And then as you do it, you'll do the first one, you'll do the second one, you know, you'll learn it each time. And then you'll be, you know, you'll know, you know, you'll kind of have a starting base where you can tweak it by using the data in the MOS. That'll just come naturally. Yeah, Michelle, I agree. I kind of like the idea. So I'm gonna chat with Linda and you know, on our team, and kind of figure out the best you know, avenue to maybe put something together, whether it is a class or if it's you know, some videos to help you guys, you know, do that CMA. I like the idea. Thank you, guys. Okay, so we're gonna we're going to check time quick. Okay, so we got 40 minutes. So I'm going to get through this, and then, like I said, just get back into leverage for you guys, and we can just kind of continue chatting, and certainly, you know, for anything that you guys have that we've gone through. So, you know, we talk about scripts and handling, you know, objections and things. You know, and we kind of go back just a couple slides to where I was talking about practicing. You know, I cannot stress, you know, I mean, we don't do it as much as we should, and we used to do it more, but you know, sort of role playing. If you're ever into, you know, having another agent in your office, or maybe your office manager, you know, sit down with you and you know, kind of role play. You know, it's very valuable for the office manager to be the seller, and for you to go in there and you're like, okay, I'm going to do what I would do if I walked in and they throw an objection out to you. And then, you know, I don't know, if it's your first time or you haven't thought about it, well, guess what? You're going to freeze. You're going to be like, you know, but when you practice that, guess what? The second time you throw something out, and the third time gets better. And the fourth time, it's even better. So, you know, you know, I personally have practiced this in the mirror. I've been fortunate enough to practice it with folks like Dan Elzer, which is a national coach, and things like that. So, but in reality, just any time that you can, you know, practice with, you know, just give somebody else a talk track in your home, and sit down with them and go, you know, be the seller. Let me, you know, kind of like Holly said, I practice on my in-laws, grab someone and go, all right, I'm listing your house today. So I'm going to walk in the door, and we're going to act like, you know, like I'm listing your home, and just be honest with what you're thinking when I say something, you know, and then just start learning how to, you know, how to respond, and how to not, you know, like, they're not trying to be mean. They're not trying to, you know, get the upper hand or anything. You know, sometimes it's just, they literally have questions. Sometimes they're, you know, trying to see what happens when they push you a little bit, you know, things like that. But they're also just hoping that you know, sort of step up and have answers, or say you can get answers, and be honest with them. And then, you know, they're happier. So, but, you know, so restate. So, you know, this is a great one to sort of make, you know, give you a second to gather your thoughts, first of all, and then also make sure that you're answering the right question. But what I heard you say is you want a higher price. Is that correct? Or what, you know, what I heard you say is that you want to interview another agent. Is that correct? Or, you know, what I heard you say is that you want to cut my commission. Is that correct? So it kind of restates it. They go, yeah. You know, gave you a second to gather some thoughts, and then you're ready to answer it. And then, you know, isolate. So, you know, So if I can address that concern, are you prepared to move forward and list with me today? So if we can talk about the higher price, if we can get the commission out of the way, are you prepared to move forward? So I'm actually, before I've actually answered the, or handled the objection, I'm kind of setting them up. I'm settling them down. So asking that second question, like, hey, if I can deal with that, are you going to sign with me today? If they say yes, be like, all right, let's deal with the objection then. Great, I understand your concern. And then you have, something in place to handle, why it shouldn't be priced at that, or what your thoughts are on pricing it 20,000 higher than your thoughts are, or, why you don't want to, or can't, ideally cannot cut your commission, things like that. So, yeah, so just any time that you can, sort of just think about it, or like, what would I say if someone said, would you take 2% instead of 3%? What am I saying? Like, even if you just think of that and then jot some things down, or obviously one of the best things you can do is especially if we're new, is, chat with a Darlene that's done it, chat with a Jackie, or anybody, your office manager, an agent in the office that has what they say. Okay, I'm going to take that and go with it. And then you talk to another agent and go, this is how I handle it. Great. And you talk to 3 or 4 folks, and you take all 3 or 4 and then tweak it. And this is my script for handling an objection when someone says, I don't want to pay you 3%. And then, the first time you do it, you're stumbling, you're nervous, and you're like, oh gosh, what's he going to say when I get done? But second time, third time, you just start rattling that off, and you believe, the one thing you have to do is believe it. You have to truly feel like, I am worth 3%. I'm going to give you this spiel, but I believe it. So, kind of just realizing that. So, so Roger says, how do you address the commission question? Does anyone here take a lower commission? So, I have a thought on that, but I'm going to kind of see if anyone on the call. So I'm going to task either, I see Justin or John that are a little bit more experienced. Greg, anybody want to just give their thoughts on what, and it can be a piece of answering that. It can be kind of your spiel when someone says, will you take less commission? But I'd love to hear someone, in the group kind of give their thoughts on that. So I'm going to stop for a minute. All right, no one's volunteering. Okay, so Greg says he starts with, I can understand and appreciate your concern, which is great. Because you're not, the one thing we can't do, obviously, is, go like, well, put your hand on your hip and go, well, this is this, or, I do this, you have to like start with settling them down. Then Greg says, it is a lot of money. So we're obviously value propping ourselves. So this is the value prop 101 right here. So I'll just kind of tell you, and then Greg says, and I wish I could, but the things I do to get your home sold. So yeah, I mean, Justin says, I always have a 7% pre-filled on the listing agreement, which helps a bit. So if he has 7% on his listing agreement and they want to cut commission, and if he can't, if he sort of has to, I say has to give in, but if he feels it's in his best interest to negotiate some, Justin has the ability to go to 6 and go, well, I might be able to do 6 on this, but, it's still getting the sort of the MLS average at 6%. So, and Greg says his standard commission is 7% as well. So I'll kind of give my thoughts. So, everyone has cut commission, so it does happen. But before I do that, before I just give it up, the one thing I will almost never do is just cut commission, because they say, well, John said he'd do it for this. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna get in that battle. I'm gonna value prop myself. We're gonna chat. I'm gonna give you my thoughts, and then then we're both gonna think about it, essentially. So so I'm a firm believer of, well, if I cut my commission right now and just give up, part of what I work hard for in what I do to sell your property, how do you think that I will do when I am trying to get you the most for your house? My job is to get you the most I can for your home. If I give up my money before I even start working, what's that say about what I will do for you when I go to negotiate, the top dollar for your house? So that's sort of one of my, talk tracks. And then again, I talked about it a little bit with, if I go from 7 to 6%, this is what I do to sell your home. I know it might sell in a week, it might sell in a day, it might sell in 6 months. But this is what I do. And I don't, if no matter when it sells, I still do all this stuff, and I still am responsible for it. So if I go to 6%, I gotta, I'm not going to do the drone. I'm not going to boost it on Facebook. I'm not, I can't spend money, if I'm going to get less. So, you got to negotiate, what level of service per se, or what services you offer. And then, another one is, and Greg says, I can adjust to 6% based on affiliation, which is a 25% discount. Yeah, that's great. So, being at 7, if you get to 6, you're still the standard, but it's when you're at 6 and they want 3 or 4 or, even 5, you're like, man, I haven't even started working on this thing yet. So, it is easier on, I used to have the $4 bill example to show where the money goes. Yeah. There's 2 other things that I'll say, by the way, all this money's not mine. I share it with my we share it with the agent that sells it. He shares it with his broker. I share it with my broker. They don't need to know if I'm at 50% or, whatever split I'm at, 70 or whatever number, but I gotta split mine with my broker. So I get half of this and I split it with my broker, because of everything he does for you to sell your home. So, and then, just because yours, I kind of like Greg saying, cost of business every month. So, look, I have a website, I have a business I run, so many things that you got to build your own on. Like, you don't walk in the store and go, I'll give you $2 for that steak instead of 8. You don't do that. You don't, go in your doctor's office and go, yeah, I know you only saw me for 15 minutes. I'm only paying you, 75% instead of the 100%. It's like, they don't do it elsewhere. They just, kind of feel, that we're sort of that target. So just kind of understanding that. But yeah, we're kind of, we each build our own. We kind of just have a talk track, and then we really just have some things in the background or to follow up with. So we kind of say, you know, my standard is, man, if I cut my commission now, just think about what I'll, you know, how am I going to, you know, work for you throughout this process? Am I going to, you know, I mean, if I'm willing to do that, am I going to care? You know, if I'm an agent that'll just cut commission. So, so you're always, yeah, you're always, super professional. You're always, you don't put your chest out and go, well, you know, you're just even, you know, even keeled, but getting them to realize, you know, the one thing that I always come down to is my job is to represent you, to get you the most I can for your home. If it comes down to, you know, needing to make some concessions at that point, when we have a deal and it's not quite where we need to be, then I'd be willing to at least discuss it. But, you know, right now I can't. Let me get the most I can for your home. If I get what you want, if I get you what you want, you know, like, you got what you wanted, pay me, you know. But if we get to it, and, you know, and then just always realize, if they sign at 7, if they sign at 6, you know, and we're close, you know, like, you're not giving it up. Everyone's got to give it up. So, you know what? We're close on this. I will go to 6.5%. And then you give up, you know, you give up 500, I'm giving up 500, the other agent's giving up 500. You know what I mean? We're kind of getting to it at that point, to, you know, to not just go like, okay, I'll do it for 6. Like, give up 0.25%, you know, give up, you know, a dollar amount. If 1% is, you know, if it's a $200,000 house, you know, what's 1%? Or if it's $500,000 house, what's 2%? You know, give up $300, or give up a, you know, so don't always just go from 7 to 6, go from 7 to 6.5, and go, well, I gave up some, you got to give up some too, and kind of portray it like that. So lots of different thoughts. If you guys can kind of maybe take those and you know, hopefully made some notes, or re-listen to this piece and jot them down, and kind of build your little separate toolbox. But Darlene says she's back, so I'm going to kind of call on Darlene. So Darlene, we are talking about getting the objection about cutting commission. So I just would, if you're willing, I would love to kind of hear your thoughts on, I say, hey, Darlene, you know, I know your standard's 6, but, you know, John said he would do it for 5. Would you do it for 5? Or kind of however that comes about. What, you know, what's your, you know, what's your talk track?
Typically, if I have the sale and the buyer, in other words, they are not only a seller, but now they're a buyer, I'll at least open the discussion. But if I am only doing their sale and they're moving to an area that I can't help them on the buying side, more than likely I tell them my commission is what it is. I am a successful agent, and I give them my experience and so forth, and just tell them this is where we need to be. Sometimes I even charge, you know, more, but because you're my friend, you know, I've already given you a discount or something along that line. Basically, I stay at 6 unless it's absolutely necessary.
All right. Very cool. Yeah. I mean, you know, you get folks that, you know, I mean, just don't even question it. It doesn't come up, but, you know, there are folks that, you know, naturally just, I need to get a deal. I need to get a, you know, I mean, a lot of times, not a lot, but, you know, if that comes up and I, you know, and I say, you know, look, I got to keep it right now and discuss it. They're like, you know, I've had them go, well, I had to try, and that was it. I'm like, oh, geez, you know how easy it would have been for me to go, oh, gee, I'll do 5, just give me the listing. And they'd have been like, geez, it worked, you know, and I just handled it. And they were like, okay, well, we thought we'd ask. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how easy that was to make 1% more, by just, you know, believing in myself that, you know, first of all, I can object this, and I can show my value. So, you know, you know, sometimes, believe me, there's been a time where I'm like, all right, good Lord, we'll just do it for 5. And, you know, and you build your own, when you do it, when you don't, but just never just give it up, you know, always just, you know, do the best you can to sort of handle it and fight for it. And then kind of see what happens. So.
Yeah, I try to put a condition on it too. If I do, like, for example, if there is a high possibility that they could give it to one of my direct competitors, the way I put it is I will take my full percentage if I can get this price for your home or better. And if I get a little bit less, you know, then we can talk about, you know, and I can even put in writing what the reduction would be. But I always put it with a condition. I always make it conditional on how I would get a reduced commission. The only other way that I've ever done it is if the seller has, you know, 2 or 3 people that they've already been talking to about buying their home. In that case, I will sometimes make a conditional, you know, these particular people, if these particular people buy it, then I will take this commission. But most of the time, I will stick with my commission no matter what, even if it means walking away, because sometimes they'll call me back and say, you know what, we were thinking about going with this other person, but we see that they don't have this and that and the other as far as what you guys offer. They don't offer those things. They don't do the early drop off of the listing, you know, paperwork like, you know, you do, and they don't do things on a professional level like you do. And they're not really from our community. They don't know as much about our community as you do, different things like that. So sometimes I'll even walk away and they come back.
Perfect. That, I mean, that's it right there. So that, you know, Darlene just, you know, value propped herself. She didn't end the, you know, like you know, depending on when the commission piece comes up, you know, it's not like that is, you know, you don't walk in the door and they go, hey, you know, we'll sit down if you're willing to take 5 off the bat. You know, it's in the communication. So your value, you know, you're given all the reasons why, you know, I take pictures and these are the tools I use and you're community related and I'll do an open house. You know, you're doing everything, you know, to that you normally would. But when the commission piece comes up, you know, that, you know, you sort of get it handled at that point. And if you were to be like, you know, I mean, you know, if you were to walk away or if they had to think about it, you know, there's nothing wrong with, you know, sort of walking away and then, you know, having them come back to you. I've had that happen as well, where they've come back and thought about, you know, like, man, they were so willing to, you know, to just take less money. They were so willing to, you know, to take that 1% off that we thought about it and it sort of scared us, like, you know, how are they going to represent us? So, so having that conversation, not putting someone else down, but saying, I mean, if I took 1% just because you asked less or whatever cut, I mean, just think about, you know, like what else I would do, like just take a few less pictures, you know, why pay for them? You know, negotiating that, like, I just offer this, you know, like, you know, so I'm standing up for you. So that's awesome. And then Justin threw out, this is awesome. So the commitment to service, excuse me. So that's the form that's, if you go to listing acquisition in Leverage, where the listing presentation is, one of the 4 forms that we went through in one of the previous classes, commitment to service. You know, this is part of your value prop. Like, you know, like, hey, look, we got everything in place. We're going to stick with this commission. You know, let's sign this commitment to service. If I'm not doing the communication, if I didn't do an open house and I said I was, if I didn't take professional pictures and said I was, if I'm not doing my job, fire me, and then you can hire someone else. So that commitment to service is you know, you throw that out there and be like, look, you know, it's, you know, I'm at 6%, I'm at 7%. You know, that's my, you know, this is why, but I'm willing to sign this if you are, that says you can fire me if I don't do my job right. So that's awesome. And I love that Darlene threw out, you know, if I need to, then that's kind of what I said. If I need to, when we're negotiating, you know, I'm willing to chat about it, but it's not, you know, it's not like I'll cut it at commit, you know, when we're working on a deal. It's I'm open to talk about it. and then if you have to have something in place, like if you know, if 300 is our number, if we get 290, I'm willing to, you know, to cut you know, this much or whatever number, you know, to make it happen. So, and the last thing I'll say about this is I will always blame it on my broker. You know, I can't make that decision. I got to talk to my broker. Like, you know, he gets part of that money. I got to share it with the other agent. Like, you know, there are folks that, you know, besides me that get this money. So I am not the one that can make that decision. So I'd have to check with him. And I've literally gone back. It's been in that situation. I've gone back and gone, man, I talked to my broker, and, you know, he's not willing to do it right now. He said kind of the same thing. He might look at it when we're negotiating a deal, you know. So, you know, so always kind of blame it on someone else, you know, well, or at least I say blame, but, you know, like I got to check with him. You know, I can't make that decision. So, so that was awesome. I love the comments that it was helpful. So,
Hey, Wayne, can I add something?
absolutely, please.
If they get into the 5% range where they want to go with that, I will point out that I can't go less than 3 for what I'm doing. And if there are 2 houses on the market, yours and another one at that same price, how many agents are going to go for the other one with a 3% commission and not show yours at the 2?
That is awesome. It's so strange that is something we deal with. But I have agents in my market that will not, I mean, you know, look, if I say, you know, hey, Tom, I want to see 123 Main Street, Tom's going to show it to me. But if Tom's creating a list of properties to send to me or to show me, he is going to leave 123 Main Street off, or he's not going to sell it. And to me, that's, you know, I don't think it's right. You know, I mean, he should be representing his client, not himself by, you know, but the fact is if that's a thought, that is not good, that you have an agent that, you know, may not show or may not, you know, push to show your home, because, you know, they know they're going to get paid less. 100%. And that's a legitimate, I mean, that's legitimate. So
I think that takes it off of me and puts it on the other agent at the same time. You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's, you're not making stuff up. Like that's, you know, I mean, we have thousands of agents in the market. You know, we cannot afford one of them to not want to show this house for us, period. So I love it. That was a great conversation. Thank you guys so much for, you know, for adding and being a part of it and throwing stuff in chat. That was cool. Anybody else have, before we move on, anybody else have any thoughts or? Okay, cool. Oh, that is funny. John says when they say other agents take less, I say some agents should take less. That's funny. That's funny. So very funny. All right. So so we'll kind of continue here. We got about 10 minutes. So so I'm not going to go through these slides, but I will send them today sort of in my recap. But you know, definitely, you know, go through these because, you know, it's just good for us to kind of start thinking about, you know, these objections. I want to list for more. You know, would you cut your commission? So it's kind of adding on to what we did. Can't we at least try at a higher price? So, you know, these are things that you will just learn as you go, you know, but you know, just like on today's call, you know, there are a lot of folks in your office or in our company that are willing to share, you know, I had that, you know, of course I've had someone ask me that, this is what I've said, or I've said this. So, you know, please always reach out to, you know, to your office manager or, you know, if you have an agent in the office that you're, you know, have chatted with or whatever, you know, please reach out to them and, you know, just ask this, you know, you don't wait for it to happen at an appointment, is kind of the key. Like, you know, there's nothing, you're like, what are you going to say to this if you've never thought about this? Like, oh my gosh, I guess, like, what am I going to say? You know, if I've asked somebody or I've done some homework or I've read this, and practiced it a little bit or thought about it, you know, I'm going to at least have a general talk track if it comes up. And then I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to be better the next time. So just kind of always know that the more we think about potential objections or you know, what could that seller ask me when I go to this appointment? Having you know, obviously if we're newer, you know, please use another agent to go with you, or your office manager, somebody go with you, because then, you know, like, this is where they would just, you know, sort of step up and you just sit back and listen to them and learn. Or, you know, they give you a shot, but if you're like, hey, John, what do you think? You know, let John help you answer that, you know, obviously if you're, you know, if you want to do that. So, and then, you know, always have, just kind of end with this one for the session, that I do want to quick get into leverage and just make sure you guys, you know, see if you have anything in there or show you the university. But, you know, always, it says close for the listing agreement. You know, we really do not want to leave an appointment without, I mean, obviously we want a signed agreement, but we got to push for it. You know, we really are not happy with like, okay, thank you for coming. We'll think about it. And then just ending it there. You know, I want to get it in front of them and have them believe in me and sign it. If they're not going to sign it, I need a, so I can follow up with you, you know, tomorrow morning. You know, I don't want this to be open-ended when I leave. So, you know, do everything you can. This is a great slide to, you know, based on everything we discussed, I think we'll make a great team. You know, things that you can say to sort of, you know, push for a close. But I mean, we all have been at an appointment and you know, they were not going to sign it when I was there. And it's just, you know, it happens. I did everything I could and they knew it, and that, you know, they are going to meet with another agent, but you know, I am just not open-ended with whatever. So I'm going to, after the appointment, I'm going to send a thank you text, email. If it's Wednesday and they're not listing tomorrow, they're meeting with an appointment on another agent on Saturday. I got time to send a handwritten note and have them get it Friday. You know, whatever. So just everything we can do to close it, and certainly, you know, set up a follow-up time for them to think about you, and but whatever we can do in that meantime to remind them of us is a bonus. All right, so I'm going to stop here real quick. I'm going to just go over to, what am I doing here? Oh, sorry, wrong screen. You would think I would know where my internet is. So let me just go into leverage. So as I'm getting in here, anybody, I'm going to be just mainly just showing you guys the university in other class options and just making sure you guys know where it is and you know what's available in there. But obviously, as I'm logging in here, if anybody has anything else in leverage, a question, any issues they've had, please either unmute yourself or throw something in chat. Real quick, just because we talked about it more today, if I go to marketing and listing acquisition, here is the standard presentation that we need to download and make our own. And then the 4 tools that we talked about. So we kind of brought in the pricing analysis grid and the salability. Justin mentioned the commitment to service right there. Click it, download it once, print it out, have it digital in you know, whatever. But you know, these are tools to help value prop ourselves to, you know, to get the listing and also to you know, keep our commission where it should be. So just kind of wanted to refresh. But if I go to, whoops, I'm going to close this one. If I just go to learning right below it, here's the ERA University. So if I just click on ERA University, and then of course, just go to ERA University. Again, main reason for doing this is just to show you guys that here's a section, agent training. So, these are just sessions that you can take. So virtual lead generation on expireds. So that is not learning an ERA tool, which they're all in here. You can learn text ERA, you can learn, all the tools. But these are classes that are just, working with buyers, lead conversion. So these are a mix between sort of instructor led. Some of them end up being roundtables. Just different conversation. Here are the sessions from Fuel. So these would be like if you were at, if you went to the national conference and walked into class, there's a national trainer or the top agents in the business, that are, sort of holding these sessions. So, earning more from the business you already have, building a better buyer. So these are great sessions. And if you click on it, it basically says, some of them are a half an hour, some are an hour, whatever the session is or the time is, but at least that these are available to you, and just additional little things that you can, sessions you can take. And then just, obviously you can click all the way through here. There are script libraries. So, we're talking about working with referrals, working with buyers, working with your sphere. How do I tell my sphere that I'm a real estate agent without being, weird? Objection handling, so really, some of the stuff we were talking about, click on these, and there are examples in talk tracks for objection handling. So, so lots and lots in here, for you guys just to really, it's just knowing that exists, but if a time blocking piece of our week is I'm going to take an hour a day to prospect, and then I'm going to take 2 1-hour sessions or 1 1-hour session a week to learn. Okay, so this week I'm going to do lead conversion. This week I'm going to listen to this session, whatever. So, so just when you time block, if one of the time blocks, one of them should be prospecting, and that should be every day. But if you had a 1-hour block every week, for learning, or 2 hours, whatever you're willing to give or can give, this is where you want to go. Obviously it can be sitting down with an agent in your office. It can be any sort of learning. But again, just kind of wanted to know that, you guys to know that it's in here. And then this trending piece. So, just some, lots and lots in here, for you guys to be able to, to take and just do at your own leisure, and, whenever you can, whenever works for you. So any more questions? I think that's where we wanted to get to today, but before I hop off, definitely wanted to kind of see, if anybody had anything. I'll be on for a few minutes today. If anybody wants to hang on and ask any questions after, please do. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for joining. I love the interaction in the conversation. So it was great. And I love that, a lot of folks got a lot out of it. So, so thank you guys that, shared. I know we helped the entire group. So thank you guys again. Have a great day. But like I said, I'll be on for a few minutes if anyone does want to hang on and ask anything. So.
Wayne, John Moody here. Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, John.
Just a quick question. Our MLS seems to be getting stricter, like on, dates, putting in within 48 hours and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So if you leave a house for a listing appointment and you get the listing, they'll sign it. You still got to do pictures, maybe staging, whatever. Are you just putting like to be determined or something in the list part, or?
Well, I will, if I'm thinking along that, so that's new, newer. So obviously in the past it was like, sign it, I'll get it, I'll get it going. I've
Right.
reached in, obviously the main reason that the MLSs have done that are to avoid me hanging on to that for a week and trying to find a buyer before it hits the market. That's the main reason they've done that. So,
And I think
so
we
I
have
just
that in
sort
our
of,
market too.
Yeah, so I've sort of,
Shorthand
I
or
just,
two in there.
yeah, I have my, my time frame, down. I'm like, well, I need, I know the pictures are going to take 2 days. I know, this, and, I would just choose to date it for, it's today. We are listing this on Saturday. So, you date it Saturday, you sign it Saturday. It's like you went to their house Saturday and had it signed. But it starts Saturday. So, and it's really when they, you got to be super careful. So I'm not doing that to try to, but I want the thing signed today. So, if it
Right.
takes getting it signed today, to date it for, hey, we're going to fire this up on Thursday or Saturday or whatever, as long as you're not doing that to be manipulative or whatever, I think it's legit to do that, but definitely always check with, like in your case, Jackie or the MOS to verify, but, I do not want to leave that appointment going, well, I'll come back Saturday and sign it. Cause by then I'll get pictures. Like I need that.
Right,
thing
I want it
signed,
signed
so,
then too,
Yeah. So, but yeah, just always be careful with it. Again, we don't, we can't be, we can't be marketing that, during the week. I mean, obviously if if you had someone, hey, I might make a call or two, and say I have it coming, or you can advertise it as a coming soon. That's a piece that folks are doing, like coming soon, no showings till Saturday. We're not taking an offer before Saturday, and then everybody has that shot. So get it signed, label it as a coming soon, or that it's available. But yet you will not have an offer before Saturday. So when it gets listed, everyone sort of has a shot at it.
Okay.
Hey, Wayne,
Yes.
I don't know how it is in other markets, but our MLS has an effective date different from the signature date. And so I typically put it's going to be listed on or before a certain date, like a week or 10 days out. That gives me time to get that other stuff done, because I explained to them I want to make the biggest splash when it first goes on the market to allow us to get pictures and everything else, and the descriptions to get it loaded and all that. So in our case, we do have an effective listing date, which is different from the date they sign it. So that's
Okay. Perfect. Perfect.
That would be great. Are those listing agreements something that come out from you guys at from Jeremy's level, or is that just stuff we do at each level?
Yeah, that would just be an MOS one. So really, John, I might just chat with Jackie and just,
Okay.
throw that out there. And if you have to go to the MLS, the idea is, we're, we can't and don't want to do anything that will get us in trouble, and thinking like, well, I don't know, I thought it was the right thing to do. And if we're not doing it to try to sell it and get both deals and double dip and, before anybody else, then it's not right. So, so just kind of getting like, all right, this is how the MLS expects us to do that.
Right.
Is really, certainly the best case. So. And unfortunately, we know, that there are, good Lord, there are agents out there that are, not doing it, the right way. They are doing it to try to sell it themselves, period. So we just know that happens, but, it's not against the, rules or it's normal to chat with someone today, and they want to list, whether they sign the thing or not, it's not ready to list. I am gonna have a conversation with folks. I'm gonna tell someone like, yeah, I got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath coming up. It's not ready yet, but I'm gonna kind of get it out there. I can't, post on social and go crazy with it, but I'm gonna let someone know, or they're going to let folks know, hey, we're listing next week, or whatever. So it's going to get out there, as long as we're following the MLS rules and aren't, trying to manipulate the system. Like, the only thing I can say is, God bless you. If you're, if you're the agent that's going to, try or wants to, get both sides that bad, good Lord, go for it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to represent my clients the right way. Cause if we're listing at 250 and I got somebody for 250, but if it hits the market, they're going to get, 255, it's our job to let it hit the market and get them 255. So, not to, unless they say, if you have someone right now for that price, let's do it. Whatever. Do a one-time listing agreement and make a deal. But obviously, in most cases, they're gonna, they're gonna kind of lead that conversation and go, get me the most I can. And obviously, our job at that point is to let it hit the market. All right. You guys have anything else or anything else you want to chat about? All right, cool. All right. Well, I'm going to hop off. Thank you guys so much for a great session. We will, yeah, great. Yeah, there are folks out there that aren't trustworthy. But all right. So we will have a great rest of the week. We will see you next Monday morning for our last week. So thank you guys. Have a great day.